It's a movie I want to put on when I'm cleaning the bathroom.
Nothing inspires me more to clean toilets than that theme song.
Welcome to Tairimo Boys podcast. I'm your host Cody. With me in second chair is the boy whose fatality is just a fart. It's Jeremy.
Can never trust them.
With me in third chair is the boy who's the master of nut punches. It's Ryan.
What's going on?
Today we're gonna be entering a fighting tournament with the first original 1995 Mortal Kombat movie, or as the song goes, Mortal Kombat. So, starting off with that song, I don't know if you guys know this, but that song is like really popular and it's commonly played in nightclubs nowadays.
This sounds amazing.
They play the Mortal Kombat music in nightclubs.
Yes.
Nerds really have taken over.
This has been happening since like the 90s when this movie came out.
Did they start beating the crap out of each other?
That's what a mosh pit's for.
They formed the ring.
But the thing is I always heard that DJs love playing this song, and I kind of thought, oh, maybe not. Earlier this year, I had to go to I didn't have to go to, but I went to like a after work event, and there was a DJ there, and I went up to the guy and asked him, I was like, hey, do you have the Mortal Kombat song? He goes, do I have the Mortal Kombat song? Do I have the Mortal Kombat song? What kind of DJ do you think I am? Of course I got the Mortal Kombat song.
I didn't know that made a good DJ. Who knew? So does Raiden show up and say, your club has lost 9 times?
No, Shang Tsung shows up and says, your soul is mine.
Or is that the drugs talking?
It's definitely the ecstasy.
Definitely.
All right. Besides the song, which really is what this movie's known for, the movie is about an hour and a half long without the credits, so it's a fast movie to watch. But Jeremy, what were your first thoughts?
I remember enjoying this movie as a kid, so I was pretty excited for it. And out of this excitement, I decided to get myself into the mood. So I went to my arcade bar that I frequent, and I tried playing Mortal Kombat 2. Goro kicked my ass twice and I quit.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Goro isn't in Mortal Kombat 2. You're a liar.
Who's the arm guy?
Kintaro.
Okay, that guy. Well, he kicked my ass twice, so I quit. I remember why I don't play those games.
I used to play Mortal Kombat 2 on Cody's Sega at our grandparents. I would get to Kintaro and I would lose constantly. I hated that fucker.
Let me guess, it was his suplex move of death.
Yep.
He spams the shit out of it. You don't even get a chance.
Yep.
I'm like, let me punch you, goddammit.
All right, so Jeremy, you're in the mood. What were your first thoughts?
Again, I was very excited to see this movie. I enjoyed it.
Fair enough. Ryan, what were your first thoughts?
My first thoughts were I have the world's best dad because I remember he took me to this movie. We saw it at a movie theater, and he must have been so miserable. But I liked it.
You liked it, but your dad didn't.
My dad didn't. I'm sure my dad, he didn't say he didn't. I'm sure he was like, I'm sure I was like, what'd you think, Daddy? Was like, different.
Pass.
It's a nice way of saying it sucked.
My first thoughts, I must have had the world's worst mom because when this was in theaters, my mom took us to see Babe, that movie about the talking pig. And as soon as we got the tickets and everything, went to the theater. We saw that the Mortal Kombat movie was showing, so of course we wanted to see that. My mom was like, no, we're not going to go see that. We're going to watch the talking pig. And that's my experience with the movie. So I had to wait for it to come out on VHS and saw it. I remember loving it as a kid. As an adult, it's kind of a different story. This goes back to some of our other reviews. Nostalgia's a hell of a drug.
Yes, it is.
Indeed.
Is this a great movie? No. Is it a movie that you want to put on while you've got a date or you got some friends hanging out? Yeah. It's an above average movie. But it's going to be fueled by nostalgia.
It's a movie I want to put on when I'm cleaning the bathroom.
Nothing inspires me more to clean toilets than that theme song.
I was going to say, just play the theme song. But the bathroom will be destroyed, but... So tell me what you guys think of this. The big thing about this movie is the fighting. It takes a lot of inspiration from martial arts movies, as it should, because it's a movie about fighting. But when I think Mortal Kombat, I'm thinking like blood and gore. There was like very
Oh yeah,
little blood and gore in this movie.
very little.
Actually, was there any blood in the movie? It said scorpions, like orange blood.
Um, Shang Tsung briefly bled.
Oh yeah, he's bleeding from his mouth at one point, just a little drop of blood.
Little drop of blood.
But other than that, you didn't get the full-on punching like you would in playing the Mortal Kombat games. You got the usual like martial arts blocking.
Just didn't give that intense feel, did it?
Yeah. So here's a little fun fact. So just as a reminder for the audience, we're reviewing the 1995 Mortal Kombat movie. There's a 2021 Mortal Kombat movie, which is kind of a, I don't know if you'd say remake, just a new universe thing. Mortal Kombat's known for its like new universes stuff that it does now, because you can't just be constantly killing off your characters and keeping the story going. But I remember watching one of these videos showing the details of how the movie was made, and they were showing how they filmed the scene between a fight between Sub Zero and Scorpion, and they had the actors like moving like really slow, throwing blocks and punches and kicks and stuff. Because the idea is whenever you're editing this, you just fast forward it so it looks like it's going like hyper speed, like a normal fight would, but you can coordinate better if you're just moving slow. When I was watching this version of Mortal Kombat, I saw that they were kind of doing that at some portions, but the majority of times, whenever a punch would land, the camera was just constantly cutting all over the place. So they wouldn't actually show a punch landing. It'd be either like a stunt double, or you'd see, I guess it would be like a fake torso getting kicked.
Motion sickness warning with this movie.
Is that kind of the idea you guys got with this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I get that they tried to make it more intense with all the different angles, but some of the fights, yeah, I got a little motion. Started getting a little motion sick.
Yeah, I kind of caught right away. They were just constantly jumping from camera to camera to kind of give impact to the fight instead of just one solid angle or camera moving. The next thing I want to mention is kind of like the sets they used on this movie. I think this movie was kind of low budget. Let me check real quick.
Sure seemed that way. I mean, I get it was 1995, but the CGI for my boy Lizard. Ooh.
Oh, we're going to be talking about the CGI.
What they did to my boy was wrong.
Did you turn to Vito Corleone when you saw it? Look how they massacred my boy.
Budget was $20 million.
20 million was the budget?
Yep.
In 1995.
95. It made 122 million. So yeah, that you could kind of consider this to be a low budget Hollywood production. But even with the low budget, I gotta say the sets look amazing. The only problem I had with the sets was like I hated how much time they spent in like Shang Tsu's island, where they had like all the really weird statues just all over the place. But other than that, places like where Scorpion and Johnny Cage fought, I don't
That
know
was a fun set piece.
Yeah, that was fun. Tairimo Boys certified fun.
Absolutely.
I don't know what the hell that was. It was maybe a crypt or something. It was all laddery and scaffoldy.
Their construction zone for Outworld.
Scorpion's from Netherrealm.
Donkey Kong is probably up there. There's probably a hint of a crossover.
The old Donkey Kong set. All right, so question for both of you. First, Jeremy, what was your favorite fight in this movie?
My favorite fight, I would go with Scorpion Johnny Cage.
Fair enough. Ryan?
Liu Kang versus Shang Tsung. Soon?
Either or works. The characters say it both ways in this movie. All right,
With an honorable mention to the lizard. What the hell is his name? When Lizard turns into a man or a human?
Reptile.
Yeah, Reptile versus Liu Kang.
Yeah,
Reptile versus Liu Kang.
That's my favorite. Like, I just love how that probably felt like the most intense fight. Probably the most well done fight in this movie.
Yeah, I can agree with that. But I still love Scorpion, so.
Okay, so next question. Aside from character versus random goons, Jeremy, what would you say is the most disappointing fight?
Uh, Easily the Sub-Zero fight
Let's see
for
why.
me. Yeah. Very anticlimactic.
All right. So, just to explain how anticlimactic this is, all these characters are known for their special moves, right? You've got Scorpion with his like spear. You've got Sub-Zero with his ice powers. Raiden's like just wandering around with like some buckets of water before this fight, and Liu Kang shows up. They brawl for a little bit. We also see Sub-Zero uses ice powers like twice in the movie, trying to cut down on CGI use. Let me explain something first before I go any further. So this movie it covers the Mortal Kombat 1 timeline, but for some reason Kitana is in this movie, and you see Jax for like a minute or two, and those are both Mortal Kombat 2 characters. But before this fight, Kitana somehow uses psychic powers to tell Liu Kang that he needs to use the element of life to beat Sub-Zero, and luckily Raiden, using psychic powers as well, leaves some buckets of water right next to the arena. We get typical hand to hand fights, and then eventually Liu Kang just throws a bucket of water at Sub-Zero, and it creates an ice spike and impales and kills Sub-Zero.
Yeah, easily the most disappointing fight for me.
Ryan, what about you? What was your least favorite fight?
Also the Sub-Zero fight, but not for that reason, and not for any intellectual reason. It's just because Sub-Zero is my favorite character, and the fucker loses, and is also the bad guy. I guess he's the bad guy in the games too, but in my head canon, when I played him, he was always the good guy.
Ryan, he
Yeah.
is the bad guy. This is the original Sub-Zero. He was
No. In the games, he was also in the game storyline. He was also the bad guy.
No, he wasn't the bad guy in 3. Or
Oh, he
maybe
wasn't.
no.
No.
Okay,
Oh, I love Mortal Kombat 3.
yeah, so here's how it goes. So Sub-Zero is helping Shang Tsung originally, so he's a bad guy. This is the older Sub-Zero. Well, he gets killed and then gets turned into Noob Saibot, and then in Mortal Kombat 2 and 3, that's when you're dealing with his like little brother. He's not working for Shang Tsung.
Because Bihan gets murdered by Scorpion, right? The original Sub-Zero.
I think so. See, Jeremy's knows more about the lore than me. So you're kind of right, Ryan. He's sometimes the bad guy, sometimes the good guy.
Okay, good. That works out for me a little bit. I always thought he was just always the bad guy.
So my least favorite fight. I'm gonna divide from you both and say the Goro fight. Completely disappointing. So we've gone over CGI, bad CGI here. Well, Goro, of course, four-armed giant monster thing. If you're unaware, in the video, let me rephrase that. So Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3, they did this really unique thing where all the fighters are like, they had cameras on them, and then when you're playing the games, you're watching like all this camera, like real life camera work. When it came to like the more monstrous characters like Goro, Montaro, Shiva, those were like all action figures that they did stop motion with in order to get their animations for the video game. So we get around to the movie. Goro is just like a giant puppet, and you could tell like there's some guy in like the puppet costume for the lower arms. And I'm gonna explain it this way: the Goro fight, it's just Johnny Cage hitting him in the nuts. Johnny Cage just running away. It's like Johnny Cage is playing like Mortal Kombat Deception, where he lures Goro to the edge of the arena, and then just does a one-hit kill by knocking him over the edge of the arena.
Doesn't go that way in the games, folks. Yeah, that fight was bad too. What was worse, CGI? Reptile or Goro?
Reptile, because Goro wasn't CGI; he was a freaking puppet. Well, I'll go here. I'll fix your question, Jeremy. What was worse, CGI? Scorpion's little hand monster spear thing, or Reptile?
Oh my god, I couldn't even say between those two.
Ryan, you're older than both of us. Was this like cutting edge CGI at the time?
It was to me. From what I remember, I was like, "Oh, that's awesome."
I remember believing it as a kid, but
Yeah.
nowadays it's just really bad.
It's aged.
Yeah, it's aged. There we go. And
Not well.
$20 million budget. Okay, so I'm gonna ask another question. I feel like we're gonna have a Watchmen incident on our hands. Jeremy, who was your favorite character?
Favorite character? I'm gonna go with Scorpion. Nostalgia's a bitch.
All right, I guess we don't have a Watchmen situation. Ryan, favorite character?
Well, Edward Nigma, I'm gonna have to say either Liu Kang or Sonya Blade.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I thought what was going to happen was all three of us were going to say Johnny Cage. Because I felt like Johnny was like the most developed character.
I'd agree. He's pretty well developed. I'm going off of pure nostalgia only because I love Scorpion.
I'm going off of I always liked main characters and girls who were hot.
Ryan just wants Sonya to crush him between her thighs.
She never would return any of my letters. She gave me one.
Okay, here's the real question: Sonya or Kitana? Kitana.
Yeah, I guess. Why not both?
I'm more of a Shiva man myself.
Ooh,
The white-haired lady?
No, you're thinking Sindel.
Is that Sindel? Which one's Shiva?
the one
Is
with
that
the
the
crazy
one-
mouth, right?
No, Shiva's the like female Goro.
Oh, Jesus.
See, I had to explain that joke. I hate you guys.
I haven't played Mortal Kombat. Which one is she even in? 3?
3.
She gets introduced in 3? I haven't played Mortal Kombat 3 in a long time.
Same.
That's right, and you get one of those Mortal Kombat arcade cabinets with all the games in it.
One day. For the podcast.
I'll write that off as a business expense.
Yeah, I was just going to make that. You beat me by 1 second.
All right, so a little bit about the movie. This is another one of the movies where there's not much plot to it. It kind of follows the games a little and adds a little bit more extra. Liu Kang's brother gets killed by Shang Tsung. Then Earthrealm has to compete in Mortal Kombat, in which we get all of our heroes from Mortal Kombat 1 along with our villains. They go to an island, duke it out one by one. Eventually, Shang Tsung starts losing. Well, as soon as Goro dies, like Shang Tsung's like, all right, I'm gonna pull some underhanded tricks, and he retreats to Outworld, bringing Sonya back as like a prisoner, and they have to go and defeat him. Do you think that sums up the plot pretty well?
Nail on the head.
Yeah. Did you put the word plot in quotes?
I mean, it's Mortal Kombat. I mean, what more plot do you want?
True. I mean, with these movies, I just expect to see the fights. Like, I'm not there for the plot, to be honest.
Yeah, and you could tell someone needed to be brought in to strengthen the plot a lot. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Sonya and Kano are fighting in like this sandy ring, like in the middle of Shang Tsung's island. They fight. Sonya kills Kano. Oh yeah, and Johnny Cage and Liu Kang and all them, they're watching from the side of the ring. Kano dies, and like the second after, we cut to like Johnny Cage in like an orchard, like maybe he had to go take a leak or something, and then suddenly he's fighting Scorpion. We get all that fight. And then cut to black again, and suddenly Liu Kang's fighting Kitana on a beach.
It was all over the place, huh? Not a lot of structure to these fights.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense how you get from fight to fight. It's like in the middle of the movie, they're just trying to cram as many fights together in different scenery as possible. And I need to mention, too, the orchard that Johnny Cage was in. It was pretty close to a road. I saw the top of a car at one point for a brief second. Don't know how Shang Tsung got one of those on his island.
It's a sorcerer mobile.
They have a California license plate.
I guess it was the top of the car. Last thing I want to mention is this movie ends on kind of a cliffhanger. Like they're getting ready to move on to Mortal Kombat 2. But if you're unaware how these movies go, it kind of skips from Mortal Kombat 2 straight to Mortal Kombat 3 with the next movie, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which if you're unaware is quite a doozy of a movie. So we'll be getting into that for next week.
Strap yourselves in for that one. Oof.
We're going to have a lot to say about that. So, Jeremy, final thoughts?
The movie hasn't aged well. It really hasn't. But I still enjoyed it. Except for Raiden. Did not enjoy Raiden.
I enjoyed Raiden. He was played by Christopher motherfucking Lambert.
He's got a point. It's the Highlander.
That's true. I mean, points to that, but other than that, I didn't like Raiden.
I can't wait to review that movie.
Lord of the Apes. Lord Raiden. The Lord of Diane Lane one time. Ryan, final thoughts?
Nostalgia, much like punching someone in the nuts, is a hell of a drug. So I'd say give this one a whirl.
I'm going to echo what the other boys have been saying. Nostalgia, it is powerful. Like I said, you will enjoy this movie if you go see it, but you're not going to get like Citizen Kane or A Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It's going to be kind of a nostalgia-fueled martial arts movie. But if you had to choose between seeing Mortal Kombat 1 or Annihilation, you definitely want to be seeing 1.
Absolutely.
So, Jeremy, on a scale of the Super Mario Brothers movie to Mortal Kombat Annihilation, where would you rank this?
That's a tough one. 75% to... No, I'm going to go 85% to Super Mario Brothers, just because I hate Annihilation.
Ryan, what about you?
Yeah, right next to Super Mario Brothers.
There ain't very many good video game inspired movies. You got Sonic and Super Mario Brothers. So, thinking, have we even seen like the 2021 Mortal Kombat movie?
I
I
have.
have actually really enjoyed it.
Okay, well, I think this is just being fueled by nostalgia here. But yep, go see this movie. You'll definitely enjoy it if you watched it back in the day. If you enjoy Mortal Kombat, it's a cheesy movie to watch. You're not gonna come out hating it like some of the trash we sometimes watch, like Mortal Kombat
Cheesy fun.
Annihilation.
Ugh.
I
We'll
want to
put
change my
ourselves in the ring for that one.
I want to change my rating. I don't want to put it next to Super Mario Brothers. I want to put it just above the Street Fighter movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
There you go, folks.
See it. Enjoy it.
All right. Thank you for tuning in for another Tairimo Boys podcast. Stay tuned next week for our review of Mortal Kombat Annihilation, the really crappy one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and don't forget to ring that motherfucking bell. Stay tuned for more.